Good afternoon. Phil Abbey, thank you very much for joining. Good afternoon. This is supposed to be a repeat broadcast. We had a session in the morning, but for one reason or the other, the line went off and I've not been able to come back since then. We're going to be having a session in the evening by 6 p.m., but I needed to do this because we already have a schedule of how we're going to go in terms of our discussion on Import-Export platform Facebook Live from 3T Impest Trade Academy. In the morning, we discuss cost element, and what we've been doing since we started the Facebook Live program is trying to educate our listeners and viewers on how to effectively source for financing from banks for export transactions. So the session is designed for exporters who are looking for funding for export transaction. It's also designed for for export investors, those that want to invest in export business. And more importantly, also, we have the banks who will be providing the funding itself. The banks who will be providing the funding itself. And we'll talk about the fact that in order to be able to effectively finance an export transaction, there is a need for proper understanding of the total cost element involved in the export project. There's a need for proper understanding of the total cost involved in the export project. If you do not have a good understanding of total cost involved in the export project, then it will be very, very difficult to be able to do the export financing effectively, because when you're presenting your request to the bank, what will likely happen is that the bank might discover, if they are competent enough, might discover that some of your figures are not correct, and they really cannot rely on some of those figures. Abegunde Damilola, thank you very much for joining. Good afternoon. So they discover that that figure is not correct, and that means that they won't be able to rely on the figure, and that means you might not be able to get the funding. And I gave an example in the morning, and the example was the fact that as a banker, we're financing the cashew nut processing for export, and we went to the factory of this particular processor in Ikorodu. After the conversation, and I told him that, look, the request he gave us, the price he quoted there is not going to work. Why? Because before then, I already know that the price of this product, this was 2008 or 2009, the price for the product was supposed to be around I think about 70,000 or so, but he quoted 50,000 naira, and he was going to process the cashew nut. He needed about 100 tons of cashew nut to do a container load of the shipment, and he was going to quote 15,000. He quoted 50,000 instead of 70,000, because at the time he was doing his projection, the price had moved against him at this time, and he's not aware of that. He's not aware of that, and he's presenting to the bank. But unfortunately for him, he's meeting a banker who also understood what exactly it's all about, and also were able to tell. And some days after, even though he argued with us, some days after, he called back to confirm that what we said was correct, in the sense that his own price were not really true, or were not valid again, not because we're not true. Probably were true at the time he was preparing the proposal, but we're not valid again as at the time we had that conversation with this individual. And that's exactly what we're trying to do in talking about the fact that you need to understand all the cost elements involved and ensure that those cost elements, you're able to get it right. Because if you don't get it right, then whatever you are presenting to the bank will not be valid, and that means the bank might decline your request. Oladekun Kasim, thank you very much for joining. Good afternoon. If the costs are not properly captured in the exporter estimate, it could lead to failure of the export project, because that means you are either asking for more than enough, which will make the bank see you as not being credible, or you are asking more than, or you are asking too lower than what is expected, which will of course make the bank also see you as being incompetent. So either way, you are not communicating the right message to the bank, and the bank will not see you as being reliable, because the information you are providing to the bank is not good enough, especially if the bank is able to spot your lapses. Sheson Latif Abioye, thank you very much for joining. Good afternoon. You're on to Import-Export platform, Facebook Live from 3T Impest Trade Academy. That's for the purpose of those that are just joining us. Therefore, it is very important for banks to have a good understanding of the peculiar nature of different export projects and their associate costs. It's very important for the bank to have a good understanding of the peculiar nature of different projects of export, or different export projects, and the cost associated to it. If they do not understand the peculiar nature of this project and the cost associated to it, the implication of that is that the bank also might find himself to be in the middle of the transaction before he realizes that this is not very, very correct. Adeshewan Adewale, thank you very much for joining. I think you were with us in the morning when the network had issue, and then I could not continue, but I felt it necessary to do the part 16 of A to Z of export business financing, and of course we do the part 17 in the evening around 6 p.m. And here are some of the cost elements. Number one is the product cost. The product cost is very important. It constitutes a good chunk, more than 70-80% of the value. It constitutes a good chunk of the amount you need for the export transaction. The export project is very important. It constitutes a good chunk of the amount you need for the export transaction. A good chunk of the amount you need is going to be for product, because it's the product you are shipping. And the money I mentioned, the fact that sometimes you might be shipping products and you realize that because you are shipping it through the air, the cost of shipment also can be very, very high. The cost of shipment also can be very, very high. And that can also hinder the success of the export transaction. Why? Because the cost of shipment this time around is very high, and meaning that it can be up to 40%. Instead of about 20%, can be up to 40% of total export project. Why? Because of the amount involved in shipment. And I use the example of pap, that when you are shipping pap, the total cost of the project can be about $1 million, and you are shipping for about 400,000 or 450,000 just for the cost of air shipment and documentation. Almost 40% of the amount you need for the project itself. So, but if you are shipping by sea, of course, the cost of shipment by sea is very low, very, very low. You know, it's been said that the cost of shipping goods from China to Nigeria, or the cost of shipping goods from Nigeria to China, rather, is lower than the cost of shipping to Lagos. The cost of shipping goods from Nigeria, from Kano to Lagos, is more than the cost of shipping goods from Nigeria to China. The cost of shipping goods from Nigeria to some part of China can be as low as $500, $600, $700, $800, max $1,000. That's about 350,000 naira. But the cost of shipping goods from Kano to Lagos, even within Lagos alone, is more than $1,000. And this is just talking about how infrastructure contributes significantly to success of businesses in any country. If infrastructure is in place and you're shipping by rail from Lagos to Kano to Lagos, you're probably spending less than 100K to move a container of item from Kano to Lagos. Why? Because it's moving by rail instead of incurring so much cost the way we have it today in Nigeria. Product cost, then transport cost. Transport cost is very critical. Like I said, if you have rail, it makes it a lot easier to be able to ship goods from Kano to Lagos, because you are shipping it via rail. But if you are shipping it via sea, sorry, or you are shipping it via rail or via barge or inland waterway, but you are shipping it via road, apart from the fact that the truck destroyed the road, the cost of moving by truck also is extremely prohibitive, very, very high, very, very high. And here you are looking at the cost of moving the goods from Lagos, from up country to Lagos, south to Lagos, southeast to Lagos, or from Lagos warehouse to the port itself. Remember, if you are going to do any of these shipments, either from Lagos, from north to Lagos, from east to Lagos, from west to Lagos, or from Lagos to the destination, always remember insurance. I don't think you need a prophet to tell you that you need to do insurance. Don't let us go with the same attitude we use for car insurance. We do third party. Don't do third party insurance when you are doing C shipment. Third party insurance will be clause C. There is clause A, clause B, clause C. Please ensure you do clause A, especially if you are using Incoterms that makes you to become the risk carrier while the good is in transit. There are agreements you can have with the buyer, in which case the buyer is the risk carrier while the good is in transit. But if you are the risk carrier while the good is in transit, then it is wiser for you to ensure that you do insurance, marine insurance, and you do clause A insurance. Another cost, apart from the product cost, transport cost, insurance cost, another cost you incur is the inspection fee. Because the buyer is likely going to pay for the goods before he sees the goods, He wants to ensure that a third party has inspected the goods and that third party has confirmed that the quality of good is in order before he goes ahead to pay. So that if eventually after payment he discovers that the quality is still very bad, then he will hold the inspection agent responsible. And there are a couple of inspection agents that do this job. We have the Bureau Veritas, we have the FGS, we have the CCIC, we have the CIQ, we have a number of them around the world that do this inspection. And in Nigeria in particular, we have SGS and Bureau Veritas in Nigeria. So you can always engage them to do your inspection for you. And they are international global company, so they are very much credible, and you can engage them to do the quality inspection for you. Talking about SGS and talking about the Bureau Veritas. Bureau Veritas. Bureau Veritas. So you have the transport cost, you have the product cost, you have the inspection fee. Inspection fee to check the quality and quantity of the inspection. Then you have the shipping line local charges. By the way, the shipping line have two charges. We have the local charges, we have the export charges, local charges and the offshore charges. Shipping line have a local charge and they have the offshore charge. Local charge, offshore charge. The local charge are the charge of giving you container, moving the container on the vessel, moving the container to the port from the shipping line terminal. All the activity involved in handling that container locally is called the local charge. Then the activity involved in moving the container from Nigeria to the destination is called the offshore charges. And that is paid in dollars. That is paid in dollars. That is paid in dollars. It's very important for you to realize that the payment of that fee is in dollars. That the payment of the offshore fee is in dollars. The payment of the offshore fee is in dollars because they are rendering an offshore service. Because they are rendering an offshore service. The payment of the fee is in dollars because they are rendering an offshore service. It's not the usual dollarization that CBN prohibits. Those are for services rendered locally and someone is asking for payment in USD or in euro or in pounds. But if the service is for shipment, shipment by sea to the destination is an offshore charge fee service, and then there is a fee. The fee being paid is also paid in foreign exchange. It's just like insurance. If you are doing insurance for marine insurance in Nigeria, it's also an offshore service. They are insuring that good while it's in transit to destination. They will also expect you to pay the premium in dollars, in euros, in pounds. The premium is going to pay in dollars, in euros, and in pounds. In dollars, in euros, and in pounds. We also have what is called the terminal handling charge. The terminal handling charge. The terminal handling charge is not for the shipping line, it's for the terminal operator. If the terminal operator is the shipping line, of course, the shipping line will be earning the third charges from you. Remember, they have the first charge, the local charges for handling the container. They have the second charge, the offshore charges for shipping the container to destination. They also have the terminal handling charge. Terminal handling charge, not the local charges of the shipping line, the cost of handling that container at the terminal. The shipping line will charge you for the bill of lading, they will charge you for the container they are giving you, but moving of that container up and down, this was instantly introduced in Nigeria. Even though they say it's supposed to have been free, they're supposed to have been charging before, but they were not charging it because they were making a lot of money for import. And when they were not making enough money from import, they started charging the exporters. Then we have the documentation fees. This is the cost of processing the NXPs, or the cost of processing the certifications like NAFDA certificate, MANCAP certificate, certificate of origin, phytosanitary certificate, fumigation certificate, any certificate the buyer is requiring from you that are statutory requirements are going to be processed through this channel. Statutory certificate requirements, statutory in the sense that these are required by law. Statutory in the sense that these are required by law or by regulation guiding export business in Nigeria. You need to do NAFDAC, you need to do MANCAP. It depends if it's finished product, non-food, you need to do MANCAP, Mandatory Conformity Assessment Program from Standard Organization of Nigeria. If it's food or drug related, you need to do NAFDAC. For that, the National Food and Drug Administration and Control. If it's commodity, you need to do quarantine, you need to do FPIS, Federal Produce Inspection, fumigation certificate, and phytosanitary certificate. Then you have the freight forwarder fee. Freight forwarder fee. Freight forwarder is an agent that helps you ship your good to international destination. They will clear the good for export with custom. Caleb Afuakwe, thank you very much for joining. Good afternoon. They will clear the good for export from custom. They will clear the good for export from custom. And in the course of clearing the good for export from custom, they charge you a fee for that service. The fee they are charging you include the fee they pay agency at the port. I call them legally illegal fees. I call them legally illegal fees. These are fees they pay to different agencies at the port. These fees are unreceipted. If they don't pay it, it's as if they committed a sacrilege. They call it facilitation fee. So for any officer that is going to sign off, NDLEA, SSS, custom, that is going to sign off on that document, there are fees that this agent paid to those people. They are legally legal fees. They are not supposed to be paid. And they are unreceipted. But when you don't pay them, it's like you have committed a sacrilege. So the agent will charge you all these fees. So when the agent is saying you need to pay about 50,000 naira per container, what they are basically saying is that we are also going to pay some other people. These other people we are paying, unfortunately, they are legally illegal fees because these other people we are paying, not because we are supposed to pay them, but if you don't pay them, they won't do what they're supposed to do. Can you imagine? If you don't pay them, they won't do what they're supposed to do. And because they won't do what they're supposed to do, they are going to hinder your own transaction. Grace. They are going to hinder your own transaction. And they're going to delay that transaction. And the implication of that is that you might be incurring delay, demurrage. Anyway, you will not get to know about all these fees. The agent will have collected the money from you and they are going to pay all that at the port. But the agent will charge you what they call the freight forwarder fee. Freight forwarder fee. Then we have the miscellaneous cost. I call the miscellaneous cost over our boys. In the sense that if you have good at the warehouse and the loading has to be done manually by labor, even though the owner of the warehouse have paid them, you are still going to pay them money for pure water. If you don't pay them, they will do the job, but they can delay you and slow down and just frustrate you. And anyway, so what people tend to do is to ensure they have those logistic funds available to be able to just settle all these people and ensure that they do not delay you. Or so you buy drinks for them, buy pure water for them, just to ensure that they do what they have to do. If you don't buy it for them, they will do it. Only that they might just take their time while they are doing it. Unfortunately, it's a very bad work ethic, but that's what you find in some of the warehouses in Lagos. Then you pay warehousing fee. Warehousing fee. Warehousing fee is the cost of keeping the good at the warehouse while preparing for export. The cost of keeping the good at the warehouse while preparing for export. That's the warehousing fee. So you also pay warehousing fee. It varies from warehouse to the other. Some charge per ton for a minimum number of days, maybe for like 2,000 or 3,000 per ton for a minimum number of days, maybe for like 2 weeks, depending on how long the good is going to stay with them at the warehouse. Then you pay the NSP fee. By the way, you can avoid the warehousing charge if you are a manufacturer and you are producing from outside Lagos. You can avoid that warehousing charge. When your good is coming in, you move it straight to the terminal, the shipping line terminal, and transfer it into the container straight up. Transfer it into the container straight up. So you can avoid that charge. You can avoid that charge. You can avoid that charge. If you are selling manufactured goods and the inspection will be done at the terminal of the shipping line as the good is being transferred from the truck that brought the goods to the terminal to the shipping line container at the terminal of the shipping line. So it's going to be in a container in the terminal. So you are going to avoid warehousing fee completely. So you can actually avoid warehousing fee if you are doing finished products. But if you are doing commodity, you can't avoid warehousing fee. By regulation, the good must go into a warehouse already approved by Federal Police Inspection, where the quality inspection will be done by FDS and quarantine before the good is already eventually loaded into the container that will move it to the port. Before the good is eventually loaded into the container that will move it to the port. Then we have the NSP, Nigerian Export Proceed Form. NSP is Nigerian Export Proceed Form. And this is the fee you pay for processing your export. When you want to export in Nigeria, you pick up this form. It's an application form for export. You pick it up from any of the commercial banks in Nigeria. When you pick up this form, you fill it. You attach your certificate of export certificate or export license. You attach your pro forma invoice. You attach your certificate of incorporation, and all this together is submitted to the bank. When you submit it, you also pay the next fee. Next fee is 0.5% of the FOB value. FOB value of your good is the value of the good plus your profit. FOB value is the value of the goods plus profit. FOB value is the value of the good plus profit. If the value of the good plus transport and all the costs I incur to move the goods to the port is 10 million naira and my profit is 12 million naira, I mean it's 2 million naira, that's the total is 12 million. The 0.5% of that 12 million naira is what I'm paying the government as the Nigeria Export Supervision Scheme fee. Nigeria Export Supervision Scheme fee, NESS, Nigeria Export Supervision Scheme fee. By paying that fee to the federal government, you are paying the fee to the agent of government that also come to do inspection, and that is called the pre-shipment inspection agent of government. Pre-shipment inspection agent of government. These pre-shipment inspection agent of government are paid through the next fee, 0.5% next fee. So let me run through the cost again. You have the product cost, you have the transport cost, you have the inspection cost, you have the warehousing cost, you have the freight forwarding charge, you have the local charges of the shipping line, you have the freight charge of the shipping line, you have the miscellaneous charges, which is called port logistic charge, you have the insurance fee, you have the NXP processing fee, you have the next fee. Now, let's discuss briefly as I round off, what is the average cost? For the product, that depends on the product you are exporting. So I won't be able to give you a price for product. But for the transport, within Lagos, about 400 to 500,000. If it's 20-foot container, it can be as much as 600 or 700 if it's 40-foot container within Lagos, because of the delay in entering the port. If you're moving from outside Lagos, the costs vary depending on the distance. Inspection fee is usually between the range of 50 to 60,000 naira per, and it's done usually per truck or per container. Usually done per truck or per container, 50 to 60,000 naira max. Warehousing fee, it can be as low as 2,000 to as high as 3,000 per metric ton per maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They will give you a minimum of 2 to 3 weeks, and you are paying a minimum of 2,000 to 3,000 per ton, per kg, so per 1,000 kg of the item you are shipping. Then freight forwarder fee, usually between 40 and 50,000 per container. Freight forwarder fee, usually between 40 and 50,000 per container. Local charges, usually around 40-50,000 naira. Around 40-50,000 naira per container. Around 40-50,000 naira per container. Local charges, it can actually be low as 40,000 naira per container. I'm trying to be conservative, so my figure might be a bit high and it's deliberate so that it won't be too low and you think the figure is good, is higher, so that when you get it cheaper, then that's better for you. Then next fee is already flat fee, 0.5% of the value of the goods. And the value of the good is FOB. The value of the good is the FOB price of the good is value of the goods plus profit. The FOB price of the good is the value of the goods plus profit. Value of the goods plus profit. Then the NSP fee is 5,000 naira, but they will charge you 5,250 because of the VAT. VAT is 0.5%. So the VAT is 5%. So they will charge you 5,250 because the 250 is the 5% of the VAT. 5% of the 5,000 or 5,500 or something like that. Just 5% of 5,000. That's 2,500, right? So 250 naira, right? Yeah, that's 250 naira. 10% is 500 naira. So it's 250 naira. 5,250 that they will charge you for NXP fee. Then port logistics and documentation charge. That's the OWA boys. I call it logistic charge or miscellaneous charge. Then terminal handling charge is 40,000 for 40-foot container and 60,000 for 40,000 for 20-foot container and 60,000 for 40-foot container. And lastly, we have marine insurance. If you are the one bearing the risk in transit, Adolfo Ali, thank you very much for joining. If you are the one bearing the risk in transit, then you pay the fee, the marine insurance fee, or you pay the insurance fee for the local shipment. That's the good in transit insurance. Good in transit insurance. All right. This is a repeat broadcast. I found out that because of the network issue when I was rounding up in the morning, I could not locate the video. And what we try to do is to post the video on our YouTube channel so that people that miss it can actually see it either on our timeline or on the YouTube channel. This is 3T Invest Trade Academy Import-Export platform, Facebook Live, brought to you every day by 8 a.m. But we are doing the afternoon, that's the 8 a.m. session in the afternoon. But by 6 p.m. I'll be up again and I'll be talking about the A to Z of export business financing. Now, this one we have just concluded, A to Z of export business financing, part 16, and we discuss understanding cost element. And the evening today we'll be looking at A to Z of export business financing, part 17, and we'll be looking at payment method. Thank you very much for joining us. See you in the evening. Bye for now.